From the News Channel 5 Network, this is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Channel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. There's no doubt Nashville has been experiencing a growth spurt unprecedented in its nearly 240 years of history. Does this growth make our city the South's new metropolis? There's a recently published book that says it is. It's written by two gentlemen who have an insider's view of what's happened in our town in the past decade or more. They are former Nashville Mayor Karl Dean and Michael Cass, former Tennessean reporter and mayoral assistant and speechwriter to both Mayor Dean and now Mayor Megan Barry. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming on Inside Politics.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Now, Mayor, you've been teaching, I know, since you left office. What made you decide you wanted to write a book?
Well, we were approached by the publisher and asked if we'd be interested in writing the book and focusing on sort of Nashville's growth over the last 25 years. And that occurred probably in the last 6 months that I was in office, and it was something that would happen after I was out of office, so we'd start working on it. And it appealed to me. I just thought it was a project that would be interesting to work on, and there was a real story to be told. And then the fact that Michael was able to work with me was fantastic.
So, Michael, what makes Nashville the new metropolis?
Well, I think it's a city that's growing, that's on the move. People want to be here in Nashville. They want to make things and start things here, and I think it's a city that's always been forward-looking and tended to make the right decisions about big issues.
And it's both sort of a history book and a coffee table book as well. I mean, the photography in it is outstanding.
Right. There's a history of the last 25 years, and then as you mentioned, the photography is extraordinary. I think some of the pictures are just wonderful, and incredibly talented photographers worked on it.
And Michael, you went beyond just photo credits. There's actually a section in there that has little bios of the photographers. I don't think I've seen that very often in books.
Right, and I was not responsible for that, but yes, it was good to learn about those folks too.
Mary, you sort of broke the book down in sections. There's a portrait of a notable Nashvilleian in every particular area. You have Jack White being profiled in the Music City section, and Paget and Culture, Renate Soto and in the Welcoming City part, Bishop Joseph Walker. Why did you decide to sort of organize the book like that?
Well, I think it's important that the people who've built Nashville are people. I mean, they put a face with what's happened here, and there are certain individuals, I think, that sort of are examples or exemplary of the progress that the city has made. Take Renata, for instance. I mean, I think clearly one of the great signs of progress in Nashville over the past 10, 15 years has been that we've been a major immigration city. This is a city where people want to come to, and Renata has played such a huge role in making Nashville a welcoming city and helping to provide services to folks who need help. I tell people all the time that when you look at Nashville and you look at the immigration that's occurred here, that's really the highest compliment anybody can give us. When you have somebody who comes to America from another country and they arrive here and they're free to move about the country, as Southwest Airlines would say, and they choose to live in Nashville, Tennessee, to live their dreams, to raise their family, to live the American dream, and to put down their roots and to start businesses and just to create their lives. And they pick our city to do that in. That's a real compliment.
Mayor, most of this interview is going to be about the book, but not to get too political, but in talking about Nashville being a welcoming city and the immigration that has come here with the change going on in Washington with the new Trump administration coming in, are you concerned what may happen to Nashville's culture in that regard? Because there do appear to be indications that the Trump administration may treat immigration a little bit differently.
Well, I'm a little bit concerned. I mean, hopefully, Nashville's sense of Nashville being a welcoming city has occurred because that's what Nashville wanted to be. And there were pressures when Mayor Purcell was in office with an attempt in the council to make English only the law here in Nashville. There was an attempt when I was in office with the referendum on that, and those were both, the referendum was defeated decisively, and we conducted a campaign against it. But Nashville has benefited from immigration, and I think you're still going to see people coming to our country, and you'll still see refugees coming to our country. And I think it's important that we remain a welcoming city. If you look at cities that have done really well in the last 25 years, just on a national basis, the cities that have attracted immigrants have been the cities that have prospered, because there's a demand for workforce and there's a demand for economic energy and entrepreneurs, and being a diverse, welcoming city is key to Nashville's identity now and for the future.
Michael, one section in the book that people might find a little interesting in terms of Nashville history, but you're profiling it quite a bit, is the restaurant boom we've had here. That's not something that most people, as I grew up here, thought, gee, Nashville's a great restaurant town, but today it really is.
Yeah, it seems that around the turn of the century, independent restaurants really began to take hold here in the city. We write about Margot McCormick, the owner of Margot over in 5 Points in East Nashville, and how she moved back to the city and wanted to establish a place of her own. And for a while there, she kind of cornered the market, but then eventually all these other chefs and entrepreneurs came in.
Mary,
too.
when you hear the word metropolis, at least in my mind, it automatically goes back to the Superman and the metropolis that he was in. So do you sort of consider these people you're profiling sort of be Nashville's supermen in some places, or women in some cases?
Well, I think all the people who are profiled and a lot of people who are talked about in the book, just throw out a name, Steve Turner, who's not profiled but is certainly quoted, and his work in the Gulch and his work downtown and just what an exemplary citizen he's been, are heroes. I mean, these are the folks. I mean, Nashville's growth, the prominence, and Nashville's economic growth has occurred because of a team effort. It's happened with people helping in all different fields. And, we've been blessed with great universities. We're blessed with a diverse economy. We're blessed with entrepreneurs. We're blessed with people who understand the importance of being a welcoming, diverse city. And all those things kind of come together. Of course, the music industry is absolutely essential. I mean, Jack White, for instance, we had a great interview with Jack. The fact when Jack came to Nashville and opened up where he did, I mean, that was an area, which was kind of run down, and he made a major investment. And his presence here certainly has revitalized the music industry, and especially in terms of rock music. And he is such a creative person. Having him here has just been sensational for the city. And I think he should be acknowledged. And I certainly would say thank you to him for being in Nashville.
Michael, another parts of town that might have been considered run down in some ways were both Sobro and the Gulch. So they've been actually extensions of downtown. Is that something unusual that Nashville's been able to accomplish? I don't remember a lot of downtown areas in most major cities growing these days, or at least becoming whole new sections.
I think so. I think the transformation of the Gulch has really been extraordinary. I moved here in the late 90s, and it was just kind of a rundown strip between Charlotte and 12 South, and now it's its own big, booming, mixed-use neighborhood. As hip and urban places.
We're talking with former Nashville Mayor Karl Dean and Michael Cash, former Tennessean reporter and former mayoral aide, both to Mayor Dean and now to Mayor Megan Barry. We're talking about the new book they've put out called Nashville, the South's New Metropolis. Back to continue our conversation after this break.